Hello everybody, it's Wendy, and today we are going to make a 5-strand but very simple strung bracelet using the Jesse James Magical Mystery Bead Box from April 2023. So it was called Stories from the Sea, and it is a very beautiful box with a lot of teals and just beautiful ocean colors, and oh, I love it. So first of all, our encouraging word for today is by Thomas Edison, and he said, "Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up." Wouldn't that be sad? If somebody like Thomas Edison had given up, oh my goodness. So don't give up, people. Hang in there. All right, so here's what you're going to need if you want to make this bracelet. The Magical Mystery Bead Box, obviously, but if you don't have it, you can use similar beads and components. I have got about 13 inches of this. This is just a cord, like a, let me see if it tells on here what kind of cord it is. It just says at the docks cord set, so it doesn't tell me really what this is. It just feels like cotton or something, actually. It's like cotton cord. This is a braided leather, and it's like a 3mm, and I have cut 13 inches of the cotton cord because we're going to tie a couple knots in it. And the leather, you really just need enough to go around your wrist and hook on to a clasp. So we've got about 10 inches, 2 pieces of it. So 20 inches total. And then this one is 13. Okay, and then I have a couple pieces of, this is 19 strand bead stringing wire in a gold color. And I've cut about the same amount, about, I don't know, 10, 12 inches, probably 11 inches of this. Just enough to go around your wrist and be able to close. All right, I've got some 5mm wire guardians here. I have got some 2mm crimp beads, little gold ones. I do have a lobster clasp. I have two 12mm jump rings, and I have these cord ends that came in the box. These are just fold over cord ends, and they came in the Magical Mystery Bead Box this month. And then I've got a few jump rings. These are like 6mm jump rings, just regular ones. And then all the rest of this stuff came out of the box. So I've got 2 of the strands of these. I think these are thunder polish beads. They are really, yeah, trite line triple thunder polish strand. So there was another strand, but we're just going to use these 2. And then I have a bunch of the sea glass. Some of it came out of the sea glass mix, and some of it came off of the strand, the glass beach bead strand, and the beach comber. I believe it was the beach comber. No, the beach comber is not the one. It was the sea glass bead set. And then all the rest of this came off of the strand pretty much. And then I have 2 of the little mermaid tails that were in here, and one of these little charms, this little shell charm. So, and I have all the metals off the strands and out of the mix. Okay, so I've just picked out basically what I like the most, so y'all can do the same thing and you'll get the same result. Just, what you like. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to move all this out of the way. Now these are open jump rings. I wish they were not. I wish they were closed jump ring or closed rings, but I don't have any closed rings in a 12mm at the moment. So these are open jump rings, and when they're open jump rings, you have to be very careful that you get them closed really good, or these wires will slip out that you're putting on. So just be cautious of that. And we're going to do some crimping right now. So you're going to need your crimping pliers, you're going to need your round nose, your chain nose, and your cutter. So just all your basic stuff. All right, so we're going to take the piece of bead stringing wire. I'm going to zoom in a little so y'all can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to take my crimp bead, and I'm just putting it right on my wire. And then I'm going to take my wire guard, and I'm going to go up and over, down the other little channel right here. Why are you not going? It should be super simple. There we go. All right, and then I'm just going to take my crimp bead, I'm going to go ahead and put my little ring on here. Now you could open the ring up and put it on, but I would prefer to leave it closed just because I don't want to, I don't want to take any chances on, it's already closed up real good. Let's just not mess with it, right? So, and then I'm going to go back up over my wire with my crimp bead. All right. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make sure that these wires aren't crossed, these two that are coming out the bottom of my crimp bead. I want them to be side by side. I'm going to take my crimpers and I'm going to bend this wire guardian in just a little bit, just so he's not so wide and he kind of touches himself there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my crimpers, I'm laying that crimp bead in the back divot, and I am pulling up on it right here with my pliers, and I'm holding these wires taut here. So that way there's no extra wire looping up over through here. I'm pulling, and I'm going to press down with my crimpers. And that should create a nice little divot, except for mine didn't. But it should create a nice little divot, there we go, and put one of these wires in each little channel, okay? And then we're going to turn this, and I'm going to put it in my pliers. I usually like to go in the second little spot there, and I'm just going to close it up. And there's what we have. Now this crimp didn't do so great. These are cheapo crimps. These are not the best crimps. You need to buy either Bead-A-Lon or Soft Flex crimps. If you're not, then you're getting cheapo crimps like I just used right there, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to mush up on you. It'll be okay, but it is a pain. Okay, so we've got that one hooked on. Now these guys are going to go on on either side. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to hold the end of it with my thumbnail, just like that. I'm going to kind of bend these together in the middle, just like that. And then I'm going to take, and it's good if you have like a bent chain nose plier like this, and you can just kind of lay this down. So I'm laying that one down. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to fold this one down. And that's how easy it is. And these are very secure. It's not going to come out of there. Now, I could hook it directly on here. If I do that, I'm going to have to open it up, which I think I am going to do because I don't really want to have to add a jump ring. So as much as I didn't really want to open that up, I ended up doing it anyway. So, sometimes that's how it works out. And we're going to do the same thing with this other one because I'm going to have two of these. They're going to be the outer two cords. Okay, so I'm just taking this, holding it here with my thumbnail, kind of bending these in a little bit, just like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to take this and bend it down, and then come over here and do the same thing. Just bend it down, bend it over, make sure it's pressed down really good. And there we have it. I'm going to wait a minute to put that one on because I need to do, let's see, this one's going to go in the very middle, but I've got to tie a couple knots in this one, and we're going to put our charm on this. So here's what we're going to do. Here's my charm. I'm going to grab a jump ring, and you probably are going to need like a 10mm or something a little bit bigger than our 6s. So I think these are 8s, and we'll see if this will work. Okay. I may go up and just use another one of the 12s, but let's see if this will work. Oh, we don't want my cutters, do I? That wouldn't be good at all. And I'm just layering these on here. So we're going to put this guy on, then this guy, and then this guy, just like that. Close it right up, just like that. And we have a cute little layered charm there. Now I'm going to take my cording and I'm going to go right through here. Okay, so this will hang in the middle. Let's put that back, just like that. Now, you don't have to knot it if you don't want to, but I just kind of want to because I want him to stay right here in the middle. So I'm just going to take this cord and do an overhand knot. Very simple. Okay, same thing on the other side. Just like that. And that's just going to make it hang right there in the middle. Okay, so then what I need to do is I need to add my ends on here. I'm just going to add this one end right now, same way as I did the others. Just put it in here, bend it in a little, and then just lay it down. This one's a little thinner, so it's a little easier to get laid down in there. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead. So here's what I've got. I've got this guy on the outside, then this one. Then I need to put him on, just like this. Okay. Now, let me see. I'm afraid that is going to be too far that way. So here's what I needed to do, and I didn't. I needed to hold this around my wrist right here and see where I needed that to go. And I really needed it to go way on up here. So I think what I might do is just tie a few more knots in it, because it would kind of give it a cool little nautical look, right? So let's tie a couple more knots just like this. I'm not going to put any beads. I'm just going to tie some knots and see if I can, basically I'm just trying to shorten that a little bit. So let's see if that might be, I might do one more here, and they don't even have to be even. They can just be like little crazy little knots in here. Let's see, well that's not going to go through there, is it? I could do it this way. Yeah. And the reason is I don't want it to be lopsided. So we'll just add a few little knots in here and see. It's actually pretty cute. Let's see. So now, let's see how that goes on the, see if that's pretty much in the middle. Yeah, that's going to be, by the time I tie knots over here, that's going to work out pretty well. So I'm just going to go ahead and do them before I put the end on. And again, they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be, you know, exactly even. It's a nautical looking bracelet, so it's, you know, it can have a little organicness to it. Okay. So now let's see if that'll work. Yep, that's going to be pretty perfect by the time I put the other end on. Okay, so that worked out. So let's put this one on. And that's, if you mess up, you know, you do something wrong, just figure it out. Make it work. It will work. There's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way, guys. I promise. All right, so let's see. But I want this guy on the outside. Let's make sure I'm laying these correctly. That one on the outside, then this one. Just like that. And then I'm just going to take this one and I'm going to put it right on next. Just like that. Okay. I'll need to flip that over so that is the right way, but right now it doesn't matter. Okay, so now I'm going to do my next little strung piece. So same thing as I did before. I'm going to take my crimp bead, put my wire guardian on. Okay, come up and over. I'm not going to put it on now because I've already opened that, so I'm just going to go ahead and crimp, and then I'll put it on. Let's see if I can do this crimp a little bit better than I did that last one. So bend this in a little. Lay him in the back divot of my crimping pliers and pull up. Okay, and press down. That does look a little better. Okay, these little cheapy crimps, they they just kind of, their metal, I guess, is so soft that they just kind of like smash up. They don't really just fold like they should. That's why the Soft Flex or the Bead-A-Lon crimps are the best. Okay, now I need my other piece of, here we go. I've already put the thing on it. And we're just going to go ahead and put this one on. Just like that. And then I'm going to close this jump ring. Close it up really good. You want to make sure that you're good and closed up. Okay. And this is what I've got. So I know it looks like a bit of a mess right now, but it's going to come together, I promise. Okay, so now we get to bead up our strands. So I'm going to go ahead. Do you want to go ahead and put my lobster on here? Why not? Let's go ahead and do it. The more that we get done, the better. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my lobster right on here. Now the lobster is going to hook onto the ring on the other end that we're going to crimp onto, okay? So let's set this one aside and let's look at this guy. We need to bead him up. So we have all our beautiful beads here. Let me get the crimps and the other things out of the way. I'm going to come out just a bit. Whoops, not in, out. Okay. So we've got all of our beautiful beads and findings here, and we've got these strands of thunder polish. I'm going to cut these because we're going to mix them in with all the other beads. Just like this. These are so pretty, so sparkly. And I think I'm going to use that strand. I don't know, I may not use that strand. I kind of like these dark ones really well. Okay, so first of all, let's take a cube. And you just bead this up how you like it. The reason I'm doing a cube is because I want it to go over top of the tail there. Normally I start with small, but I want the tail to tuck in, so I think it will, but I did the cube first just to be sure that he would cover that tail. Okay, there we go. Now, let's see. Let's do one of these bigger guys. And how about a rhinestone rondelle? And I like to stack these metals. I think they're kind of cool stacked like this. So rondelle, that spacer, we'll do this spacer, and a bead cap. And let's see, here I had these pearls. Let's put this pearl on, and this bead cap. And you just bead it up like you want it, and you just go to the length that you need for your wrist. So that for me is about 6 inches, because by the time I put the clasp on, it's too big if I go very, very big. All right. And so I'm just putting some beads on here. Let's see, let's do this guy. He's cool. And then we'll go with this big one. So we'll put the bead cap, this bead cap. And how about another one of these big rondelles? Pretty. We've got the square one. That one wouldn't look too good next, though. Let's do this one next, because it can kind of nestle into that rhinestone rondelle. And then, let's see. Let's do a metal. How about a smaller rhinestone rondelle, and then this guy. Wow, these beads are so, so pretty. Then we'll do this little one, this little rondelle. Let's do the square. We need to get this guy on here. So how about another small one? And then this. Well, is that small one going to go up inside there? No. Okay. Now, I could do another cube. Let's see. Let's do another gold bead, a cube, And let me measure that because I do want to make sure I don't get too long. So right now, I am already at about 7 inches. So yeah, with the clasp though. So that's pretty good for me. So what I need to do is go ahead and finish this off. So I'm going to do one more small little guy here. And then I'm going to crimp onto the other ring. Okay. But first of all, I'm going to stick a bead bug on here and I'm going to bead the other strand just so I can make sure that I get them even. So I'm just going to put a bead bug on, because if you saw my video the other day where I dropped all my beads off, that's pretty annoying. It's no fun when that happens. So I'm not going to chance it today. We're going to put a bead bug on here. There we go. That way, if I happen to fling this around or something, they won't all fall off. Okay, so we've got this strand in the middle, our mermaid tail. This strand on the outside, our cord, our leather cord. Then our beads, then our one with our charm, and now we've got to do this other bead strand. So let's see if both tails will fit under this. I'm not going to bead it the same as I did that last one. I'm just going to do it randomly again. But one thing that I do want to make sure of, and yeah, those don't like to go up over, well, it's going to, I think. The two pieces. There we go, it did. So one thing I want to make sure of when I do this is that I don't put the other big bead right here. Like, it needs to go over here somewhere. So I just try to spread that out, but I'm not going to bead it up exactly the same. It's going to be kind of random. So let's see. Let's do a gold spacer, this guy. And I'm just making sure that my tail of my wire where I crimped just goes under the beads there. How about this one? This would be good here. Let's do a bead cap. Bead cap, and then him. Yeah, that's cute. And another bead cap. Okay, another one of these guys. Get on there. My wire's a little frayed on the end. My scissors are dull. Okay, and I cut it kind of frayed a little. Let's see. How about a cube? And then one of these guys. Let's do a rhinestone rondelle. And then one of these guys. And see how they're kind of staggered? Like, I don't want those two right beside each other, so that's working out pretty good. Let's do a couple spacers. And what did I just have in my hand? Oh, probably need to do this one next. Because see, I want it to be kind of staggered from that one. So, and it is kind of close to that one, but I think it's going to be fine. Okay, let's do another spacer. And how about this guy? Perfect. And I'm just trying to put a variety of the beads on, but not have them right beside the ones on the other strand. So just staggering them a little. This would be a good place for him. Okay. And now I can put this guy on pretty close to, let's put him on a little bit more down there, but let's do another one of these. I love these little thunder polish. They just add such a pretty sparkle to it. And how about the pearl next? That would be good. Pearl with some bead caps. Pearl. I'm trying to get past this tail here to do this bigger bead. So let's do this. I like this right here. This, layered with this, layered with this, and layered with that. That's a cool combo. Yeah, now let's do our big bead. So we'll do, let's go ahead and do the big rondelle rhinestone spacer, the bead cap, this ceramic bead, the other bead cap, And our rhinestone spacer. Okay, now let's compare here. So we're about at the end. Yeah, I think I'm pretty much at the end of this. I might add this guy in just to sit inside that, yeah, that rhinestone rondelle. It needs it. Okay, so we've got that row done, and then we've got this guy. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to crimp these guys and put the endings on these guys just like we did on the other end. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to make sure that everybody is even. Okay, so I'm just kind of pulling everything taut like this. Let me put a bead bug on here too, because Lord knows I'll dump them all. Okay, so I'm just kind of pulling everything taut. And so this guy over here, I need its ending piece to be right about here. Okay, so I'm going to cut right there. And then I'm just going to take it right here like we did before. Same thing. Just laying it down in there. And then I'm going to lay this flat. Fold it over. It's better if you do it with not your crimping pliers. Okay, there we go. Folding that down just like that. Okay, and then I've got my ring over here. And I'm just going to put them on the ring in the order that they go. So this one we need to crimp. Now, I want to make sure that that middle one is not longer. And it does look like it's a tad longer. So I'm going to take this one off, just that little one that's on the end. And that should help it. I think I may need to actually take... I think what I'll do is I'll replace that cube with one of these little beads. And that's probably just about going to be the length that I need by the time I get a crimp and a wire guard on. So putting the crimp bead on, putting the wire guard on, coming up and around. Now I need to go back through the crimp, and I'm going through a few of the beads. With my little tail here. Come on. Doesn't like to go through those thunder polish. They're so tiny. But I think it will, because it did on the other one. I like to do this for security measures. If your strand would break, you might be able to restring this if you have some extra tail here without having to take everything apart. But maybe not. I mean, it would depend on where it breaks, but it's definitely something that I do all the time, just to be sure, you know, just to have that extra little security there. Okay, I'm going to hold this and pull. So my strand is tight. You want to make sure there's nothing loose in there. And I just take my crimpers and stick them in there and pull tight on my tail. Okay, so now I need to crimp that down. So I'm laying it in the back divot. You can't really tell if they're crossed here or not. It's too hard to, so I don't really worry about it. I'm going to turn it sideways. And I cracked my little thunder polish bead. Okay, we'll have to put a wire or a crimp cover on there. Be careful that you don't do that. It's easy to do because they're right there. Yeah, okay, let me grab if you do that, grab out a crimp cover. Probably a medium-sized one. You don't want something huge, but you don't want something too tiny either. Let's see. This one looks good right here. And then you can just put this right on here over top of your crimp bead and it will help to take up some slack there and hide the fact that you cracked an entire bead off of your strand. Don't you love the bloopers? I leave them in because we all make mistakes, and you can learn from my mistakes and maybe not make the same one. So see, I can put that little crimp cover on there, and you can't even tell there should have been something there. So it's all good. And we're going to trim this off. And there is a mosquito in this house. Get away. I do not like mosquitoes. All right. So there's our second strand. We're just going to put it right on there. Pretty good. Okay, this strand. Now, I need these to be a little closer to the middle, I think. So I'm going to try to tie another knot. Actually, I'm going to have to take this off that end to tie that knot. So let's do that. We want it to look right. So I need to take up some slack in this end. So let's just go ahead and tie a couple more knots in here. Where that mosquito went. Well, I see him. I'd love to get him because he's trying to get me. I hate mosquitoes. Let's see here. What's going on here? What am I trying to do? I'm trying to tie a knot. Why is it? I'm distracted by the mosquito. I would love to kill him. They bite me and I get big, huge, terrible itchy spots. I think I'm allergic to them. Okay. There we go. So let's just tie. Well, I don't want the knot to be bigger. I want another knot. What have I done here? I know I've got room to tie a knot there. There, let's try it this way. I just don't want the one end to be too long. It's determined to be right over top of this other knot. Alright, well, you're being really difficult here. Being really difficult. Can't do that. Okay, let's see here. I may just trim the end off, and now I'm itching. I don't know if the mosquito got me or... Okay, so let's lay this strand out right here. And see, he's too far down that way. I have got to get a knot in here. Which means that I need to get this knot to go through there. There's not a whole lot of room, so it's very snug, but I should be able to get this one through here enough to make one more there. And I think that would probably take the string up just enough to where it would be okay. I mean, I could cut this end off and redo it, but I don't really want to waste my end. I'm just trying to pull this knot through this other knot. There we go. Okay, there we go. Got it. So it's 3 little knots there, very close together. But that might help. Not enough, does it? Can I get a knot in here? Let's try it. I hate to cut the end off because it's a perfectly good end, but you don't want it to be lopsided either. So let's see if I can get a knot in here. If I can, then that might be enough. There we go. Okay. That might actually be enough to do it. So let me tie a couple over here actually, because now this side's going to need a couple more and it will take up some of the slack. And it's easier to do it right now than before I put the end on. So let's get one in there. Just wanting to do the same thing the other one did and just tie right on top of the other knot. It's too hard to pull through there. Okay, that's all right actually. It doesn't look that much different. Okay, now let's look and see. I really need to get one more right in here. See if I can do it. I kind of like the way the knots look in here. It's really kind of cute, but it's a whole heck of a lot easier if you don't have to do this. If you just cut it right. Cut it the right length, which I did not do. So just keep that in mind. There we go. 3 little knots close together. Okay. Let's see. That's probably going to be right about perfect now. Okay. So let's put this end back on. So now I've got my whole bracelet dismantled. So let's redo it. Okay, so we have our outer strand here. Then we've got this guy. Our beaded strand. Okay. Then we've got this guy, our little knotted strand with our dangles. It goes next. And I've got to do the end over here. So I am just going to lay this in here like we did on the other one. Fold it over. There we go. Flatten it out. And it's going right on the jump ring right here. Okay, there we go. Let's pull that. Yep, that's going to be okay. I do believe it is. Okay, now we've got this end. So I'm going to lift those up and I'm going to put this end on. And then I'm going to put this guy back on the end. And then I'm going to put my lobster on. And then I'm going to close this up just so everything will not be falling off. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to grab our other end over here. And let's take a look at this guy. And by the time I get him crimped, he's going to be pretty much perfect, I think, right where I need him to be. So I'm just going to make sure here that I don't need to take anything off. I could actually probably take those 2 off. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to take those 2 off, put a little fire polish on the end here, or thunder polish, and hopefully not break the thunder polish bead this time when I crimp. Okay, so I'm taking the crimp and putting it on. My wire guardian. Let me trim this. He's frayed a little bit and that's making it really hard to get. There we go. So up through here, down through the other side. And I'm just going to go ahead and crimp this one and then I can put it on the jump ring. Since I've already got the jump ring open. Okay, going right down through here. Try to get through the thunder polish bead. I may have to pull it up a little bit like this to be able to get through it. I don't know, it may not go through there. It should. Some of them do have smaller holes than other ones though. This one may be one with a tinier hole. It does not, there we go, it did. Okay. I just like to do that. I think it gives it some added security. And I'm going to pull it through here. Okay. And then I'm going to take it, I shouldn't have any trouble getting it down through the top of this bead and the bead cap. Right down through there, and we'll see where it pokes out. There we go. Okay, got it. All right, let's take this, hold it, pull everything tight so that there's no gaps. And let me see if I can crimp without losing my bead this time. Very carefully. Okay. Give it a tug test, make sure it's solid, and it is. Okay. So now of course everything has come off that bottom jump ring, and I still need to do my last strand. So let's put them back on. Here's this one. And then this one. This one. This one. I need to cut that tail. And then our very last one. Let me cut it where it needs to go, which is right there. Okay, get our fold over cord end. And same thing that we did before. Alright, smash it down on one side, come over on the other side and do the same thing. Just fold it over and lay it down. There we go. Flatten it out. Put it right up here on our jump ring. There we go, and close this jump ring up. And we have a cute little nautical bracelet. Everybody stay where they belong. We will put it on. Now, where are you? I don't know how that guy ended up on top of this guy. Might have to fix that, the charms there, but here we go. So we have our little bracelet, and I don't know how, oh, no, how did that end up that way? Oh, he needs to go through here. Okay, got it. Yeah, it's been a day. Okay, there we go. So there's our little charms, and then the rest of our bracelet, and it kind of flips around a little and gets, but there we go. Whoops. I was going to put it on for you, but oh no. Okay, see, that's how you have to be really careful. These are very thin, and if this jump ring is not closed up really good, I mean, you got to hear the metal scraping on there. It will come loose, okay? And there's our two outside cords. It just wants to roll off my arm. Very fiddly to get on, I can tell you that. We may want to put another jump ring here, so that would make it a little bit easier to get on. It's supposed to clasp right to that one, but I think I'm going to add one more just to make it a little easier. Let's put this guy on here too. Just like that. And then it's adjustable. Like, you could do 3 of them, and you could even put a little dangle on the end if you wanted to. That would be really cute. But at least then, you know, it's adjustable and will fit anybody that you want it to fit. don't like the way my charms are doing this. Okay. So when it's on, and you kind of put everything the way it's supposed to go, this middle one in here, the beaded ones on the edges, and then this guy. Let me see if I can get it clasped. I don't do very good with these lobster clasps on my own. I usually have to go get Chris. I think he's laying down right now. He's been working hard. He got our pull up, and he's been working on the outside out there for Rachel, our daughter and grandbaby, to come and visit tonight. All right, so there we go. Yeah, once it's clasped and it's on, it is super cute. Got your little charms there, your beads, very nautical looking. The charms are just going to kind of flop a little bit, and that's fine. I may add a little dangle right here. You could, but yeah, this turned out pretty cute actually. I was kind of worried about it there for a second, but those will just kind of flop around, and I could make that strand a little tighter if I wanted to, but I don't think I'm going to. And so if you wanted to put a little dangle on here, watch me not be able to get it off now. There we go. If you wanted to put a little dangle on here, you know, just grab a head pin. So here's a head pin, and we could do like a little thunder polish bead. Let's see, that would be pretty with this. No, I don't like that at all. You'd have to put this, and then this, and then maybe this. Yeah, that's kind of cute. And we could stack a couple of these guys and a tiny thunder polish on top. Yeah, that makes a cute dangle. All right, and then we're going to bend this 90 degrees. We're going to make a wrapped loop. Okay, take our round nose pliers, and be careful not to crack that little thunder polish bead, because they will crack when you're doing this as well. Come up and over, just like that, and then around. And you've got a little loop there, but I'm going to slip it right on here before I close it up. I could open the jump ring, but again, why if we don't have to? And then I'm going to grab the top of my loop here, being careful not to crack the thunder polish bead again, and just wrap a couple of times. There. And then I'm just going to trim that off. And we've got a cute little dangle with a wrapped loop. So that's our nautical bracelet. The only strand that I would probably change is this one, and I would make it a little shorter. But once it's on, I mean, it does fine, but it is a little floppy. Flops around just a little bit, that strand in the middle there. But like I said, once it's on, I think it's okay. But you could make it a little shorter if you wanted to, and then it wouldn't be too floppy for you. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. The Magical Mystery Bead Box is beautiful. Beautiful beads in here every month. A lot of variety. I think I am going to have to shorten that strand a little bit. It's just going to bug me. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it's too long. But anyway, a lot of variety in the Magical Mystery Bead Box. Check it out, and I hope you guys have a great evening, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!